everyone, welcome back to my channel Do It Yourself Designs. My name is Marcia. Today I got another exciting idea for you. It's a recycling idea. I found this dress here, which is orange color, which is my favorite color, and I found it in the charity shop for a very reasonable price because it was so big. It was in the reduced section, and I saw the potential in it because it has quite a lot of fabric. It's got like a double layer at the front, as you can see, and it's quite long as well. So there's plenty of fabric, plenty of material to work with, play around to try to make maybe a little jacket. It's quite a thick material as well, and it's slightly stretchy. So it's a beautiful material really to work with. I would like to invite you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. I'm always trying to bring you some exciting ideas with recycling clothes and sometimes starting from scratch, doing a designer copy. And it's always very exciting, the ideas that I come up with. And I hope you subscribe to my channel. It will also help my channel grow. So please subscribe. Thanks very much. So let's get started. To make the bomber jacket, I recommend two patterns, or there are many out there, but these are the ones that I have. This one here is from Vogue Elements 9707, but it has got some intricate details and lots of seams, so for a beginner it's a little bit more complicated. While this one here, there's no seams whatsoever and at the front, and the sleeves are very easy as well. So for beginners I recommend this one here, which is the Butterick 5005. The color orange is one of the biggest fashion trends for 2021, which we saw with some of the shows from Valentino, Louis Vuitton, Versace, Dolce & Gabbana, Dior, etc. So, and the pumpkin orange is supposed to be very popular as well. The inspiration for this jacket, this recycling, was a jacket from the Balmain range. It's cropped, but I'm not going to make it cropped. So, and if you don't want to buy a pattern to make your jacket, you can always get one of your jackets that you already own that fits you nicely, and you can just copy it by putting on top of tracing paper or any tissue paper, and then you fold the edge, line the edge of the paper, and just put pins all around the seams, on the neck edge, on the shoulder area, at the front, on the armholes, side seams, and then you just put pins all over, and that will leave a road mark of pins, so you know exactly where to trace it, where to mark it with your pencil lines to take the pattern out of it, if you know what I mean. So just put pins all over. The more pins you put, the better, because then you have a clear view where the seams are. So that's the way how you can trace a garment into tissue paper, so you can use the pattern later on. As you can see, I lined up the paper underneath. This time I'm using a thicker paper so you can see the pin marks underneath. This is the back section now that I'm doing. Same way as the front, pinning all the areas where there are seams, so it will leave a visible pinprick line of where the seams are. So I have pinned one side of the sleeve here, all over, and all over here on the seams, on the armhole where the seam is, and all around here on the base. So when I remove all the pins, it will leave a pin mark everywhere, so I'll be able to trace it. I removed all the pins and now I have some pin marks which I can now join to make the sleeve pattern. Remember to allow seam allowances. I decided to test the pattern in a cheap material, an old pair of curtains that used to belong to my son. So the Sonic the Hedgehog and just trying it on to see if it works, and I'm quite happy with it so far. So I'm added the sleeves and it looks alright, and added the collar piece as well. So it's perfect, the pattern I took just by using the pins. So I'm pleased with it, so I can do it with my own fabric from the Recicle. Here's the front of the dress, and the side at the front has got extra panel, so this section here I'll have to unpick over there, so it will free up the material so I can use it for cutting the pattern pieces. I'm lining the pieces of the pattern on the fabric so I can save as much as possible of what I have available. Most sleeves, quite a lot of them, have got seams on the back, so I'm taking advantage of that section of the dress so I can line up so it will have a little seam at the back, so it won't look bad, because that is quite common, have a seam at the back, so on the sleeves. So I'm pinning up, so I'm lining all the other pieces and making sure I can use as much as the dress as possible. I pinned the shoulders and the side seams ready for sewing. I'm trying it on before I sew it, just to make sure that everything fits alright. So I'm quite happy with it. After unpicking the front section of the dress, I was left with some pin marks there where it was sewn before, so I decided to do some linings of top stitching in gold thread to make it interesting. The same happened with the sleeves at the back also, because it was stitched before to the back of the dress, the panel, so it left some marks there, so I decided to put a row of top stitching in gold thread just to hide that. I also added a row of double stitching on the seam section. Now line up the sleeve seam with the side seam of the jacket and pin in place all over and sew it. I ironed the front of the jacket, added some interfacing, and then now I'm adding pins about 3.5 centimeters. I also added some interfacing to the collar pieces and pinned all over, ready for sewing. I'm going to give 2 rows of top stitching in gold thread on the collar edge next. I folded the edge of the placket on the top, and then now I'm attaching the collar piece to it. You can see I done the gold thread stitching on top, on the edges, and now I'm going to sandwich the collar piece with the top of the placket, and I'll sew it all around there. I'm giving 2 rows of top stitching with gold thread for the front section to make a placket. I made a paper pattern out of the pocket from the jacket, same size. So now I'm going to cut into the fabric. I'll need 4 pieces. I cut 2 already and I need another 2. Then I'll add interface into it. I added 2 rows of top stitching in the edge of the pocket because it had some stitching there just to hide it, and then I'll top stitch all around the edges there as well. For the band, I cut a long strip long enough to go all around the jacket and about 7 centimeters wide. Added some interfacing to the other side, and now I'm going to pin all around the edge. I marked the center point of the back of the jacket and now I'm lining it up, and I'm going to sew. I'm measuring the distance between the flaps at the front so I can do exactly the same in the jacket. Just pinned it up and now I'm going to sew. For the cuffs, I cut 2 strips of fabrics long enough to go all around the edge of the sleeve and then about 6 centimeters in width. Added interface into it and I pinned all around the sleeve ready for sewing. Then I'll turn around and I will double stitch with the contrasting gold thread. Now it's time for the finishing touches. I'm not sure which buttons to use. Those here are the ones I found. I could use popper snappers, or I could use this one that looks like Versace. Both looks like Versace. It will give a Versace vibe to this jacket. It will look absolutely gorgeous. This piece of fabric left over from the front section of the dress, and I think I might be able to make a skirt out of it, so I'm just trying on a dress form and see if it's enough fabric. There is a hemmed edge which was part of the original dress that will come up quite handy, so I won't need to make a hem. I'm using one of my skirts to cut the pattern out of it, so I only need to cut a little bit of section on the top and on the side. I also cut a long strip of fabric to use for the facing. Have any questions about this tutorial, please leave a comment in the comment section and I'll be very happy to answer all your questions. This This outfit turned out better than I expected. I'm absolutely over the moon with it. It's beautiful, it's so elegant and lovely for the summer, for the spring-summer weather. Just absolutely delighted with it. I hope you like it too. So please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified next time I post another very inspirational idea. Thanks very much for watching.